Hey everybody, I just wanted to check in and see how everyone's doing. I know I look pretty bad. My bags are lack of sleep, a lot of stress going on, but hey, it's life. I just kind of wanted to see how everyone was doing. I know with the election going on, a lot of things has been happening. A lot of crazy videos, memes, comments. Um, just a lot going on here recently within these past couple days. And one thing that kind of triggers me a lot more, and I'm a very vocal person. I know some things I should probably not let get to me, but I do. And there have been a lot of ignorant comments about Ms. Harris and comments that I personally don't appreciate. I don't think any woman who is a minority should. There has been a lot of comments as far as her ethnicity, you know, that she's not even black, you know, things like that, which kind of bothers me because, it's kind of like going back to what happened with former President Barack Obama. Why is race an issue? Why is it a concern? You could be whatever color you are, whatever race you are. Can you do the job? And are you for everyone? Not for a specific tax bracket, not for a certain race. Are you for everyone? Can you do that job? And do it efficiently? And I hate how this is all about race. And it bothers me. We can't even just accept the fact that for the first time that this is a female VP. Female. Do y'all know how long it took for us to get a man of color in the office? That hurts my heart because this country is so divided and everyone is focused on race. Who gives a damn? Like, so what? You could be as red as this shirt. Again, can you do the job, and are you going to be fair to everyone in this country? That's all I care about. What is the problem? Why are we still focused on race? We are about to approach in 2021, and that is still a factor. Why? Oh, well, her mother's from India, and she's an Asian descent. Her father is Jamaican, and Jamaican is of what descent? For those who don't know, that is of an African culture. So she identifies herself as African American. Nothing wrong with that. She is a minority. But again, who cares what race she is? Can she do the job? That's what everyone should care about. The same thing with Biden. It's all about, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. Oh, I don't want to follow a Democrat. I just rather follow a Republican because Republicans are for me and for my race and my people. Listen, we are never going to get anywhere in this country if race is something that divides us. We have been dealing with race issues for the longest time, and we have not gotten anywhere. Like, it is crazy. My grandparents, both, my grandfather on my mom's side, my grandmother on my dad's side, both of them were extremely light. My grandmother personally could pass as a Caucasian. My grandfather, he was born in 1919. And on his license, it said he was Caucasian. He could pass for one. My grandmother especially could pass for one. And I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about. I want to show you my grandmother on my dad's side now. I just found out who my father was. And unfortunately, my father passed away in 2016, so I didn't get a chance to meet him, but that is okay. I know that he is watching me, and I was able to meet my grandmother. I have not met my grandmother. I was not able to meet any of my dad's people until now, but my grandmother and my grandfather and my dad were the ones who had recently passed. So my grandmother, I'm trying to find her obituary just so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, the stories that I have heard about my grandmother, she did not identify herself. Now, again, she could pass for Caucasian. She did not identify herself as that, even during the times where she probably could have. She, you know, identified herself as Black, African American, and she would cuss you out if you tried to tell her otherwise. Now, obviously, she is of a mixed descent. Well, what mixed descent she is, who knows? But I just hate that this is what we have come to as a society, is again still focused on race. So what? And the crazy part about it is this country gave Obama hell. Every little thing that this man did, hell. They talked about his wife. Let me tell you something about Miss Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama was sophisticated, beautiful, smart, down to earth. She went to Harvard, okay? She was well qualified to even run for presidency if she wanted to. But again, like I said, this country is so divided. It's either Democrat, Republicans, or Black and white. And I'm just trying to understand when it's going to stop. I feel sorry for my kids. And now I'm about to show you a picture of my grandmother. I don't know if I can flip this. I feel like I can't, so I'm just going to show you a quick picture. Oops. That's my grandmother. Again, she could pass for a Caucasian. She's not. She never identified herself as one either. But yeah, she was of mixed race. And people used to always identify her. Let me take that back. My brother told me a story about him working at this local store, right? And there was a lady, a Caucasian lady, who was talking about something my brother did, or something my brother was wearing, or something like that. And she mentioned it to my grandmother, and my grandmother paid it off, not knowing that that was her grandson. So I think the woman made like a racial comment or something like that, and my grandmother had to basically put her in her place, like, that's my grandson. Like, I'm a Black woman. I may not look like it, but what people don't understand is African Americans, we come in all colors. Do y'all not understand the colors, the shades that us women can produce? We can be as light as my grandmother. We can produce a child as light as my grandmother, for instance, and as dark as Wesley Snipes. Like, our shade is amazing. We can produce so much. And I don't know. I just, and I'm not trying to rant. I guess I'm triggered, as you would say. I feel like everyone is focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing about race. Who cares? Why haven't we got past that yet? Why are we still worried about the color of your skin? Who cares? Like, I keep stressing that. Who cares? What happens if you are a different race? And let's say you're Caucasian, and your child goes and marries a person of color. You don't like Black people for whatever reason. I don't know if it's something that a Black person did personally towards you, or what it is. You just don't like Black people. She goes and she falls in love with a Black man, or your son falls in love with a Black woman, and you guys have grandbabies. Then what? You're gonna hate your grandbabies because they're not as light as you, or they're too dark? You should just accept the fact that That's of you. That's your blood. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry, I keep like wiping my face. My face is shiny. Side note, I did a double mixture with the Rihanna and Kylie. I used Kylie's vitamin C serum and Rihanna's moisturizer, and my skin is already oily anyway, so it got me looking like a light bulb. Sorry. Who cares? But I don't know. I'm scared for my kids. You know, I'm scared for my daughter, who's a young black woman, growing to be a young black woman. I feel for my son. Now, my son is probably about as light as my grandmother, but his father is Puerto Rican and Sicilian, and he's very light. Not on top of that, he was a preemie, so he was 1 pound and 3 ounces when he was born, and his pigmentation is a little different, but he's very light. I feel sorry for him. You know, I'm scared for what is going to happen within this next decade. But I don't know. I just wish that we can get to a point where we can stop being so divided and start growing, healing, get past that. Why is that such an issue? We need someone to run this country who is for everyone. Again, not because of what tax bracket you are, not because, hey, you're about as light as me, or hey, you come from Connecticut, or, you know, someone who is for everyone. Everyone who makes $25,000 a year to everyone who makes $2 million a year. Like, I just hate how divided this world is, and it makes me very sad. With Ms. Harris, I feel reading those comments really made me upset, because they're taken away from what is historic. She is a female VP. Who cares what her ethnicity is? Like, I need to stress that. Everyone is still kind of in that old mentality back in slavery. Like, master and a slave. And some people, you have no reason to not like minorities. You just because it's something that you grew up and you were taught. And instead of you breaking that mentality, you continue to go with it, and I just could never understand it. You know, so if I'm not mistaken, and you know, I probably could brush up on a couple of history lessons here, but slave masters was having sex with us black women and was producing children with us, and it was my ancestors that was breastfeeding your white children. And I'm not saying that to be racist. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to offend anybody. I am saying that because that is facts. I have seen tons of slavery women breastfeeding these babies. But yet you hate us. Why? Why? What is really the issue? Why and I decided to take a look it up, just so I can, not know what I'm not talking about. I don't want to sound stupid on here. But let me tell you the first picture that I see. Gosh, I really got to get this together. All right, look at that. What do you see? You see a woman of color breastfeeding her baby, right? Not that she couldn't, but like it says, the duties of slaves, besides domestic work, the female slaves were mistresses. They would serve their mistresses, cook, clean, wash, care for the children, breastfeed the baby. Like, which is something that you should be doing as a mother to bond with your baby. That's a bonding experience. Now, if you couldn't produce milk or something like that, well, then yeah, I get it. But just because you are a slave, that shouldn't have been a part of your duty. Now, if I had a woman who, again, couldn't produce or something like that, and I had a child myself and she was okay with it, then that's fine. But these women were forced to breastfeed someone else's baby instead of their own. That's disturbing. That's a problem, and that's the mentality that this country still has, and it's sad. I feel like we need to wake the fudge up. Stop being so divided. Now, regardless of what kind of religion you are and who you feel, I personally just feel like God is not happy, and he has not been happy in a very long time. But we got to do something. I'm not saying Biden is 100% the solution to the problem. You know, people gave Barack Obama hell, but they forget the BS that Bush pulled. Everyone seems to kind of overlook that part. Trump is, to me, not the greatest business person. He runs the country like a business, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But it's so much drama, it's not even necessary. It is like you're watching a reality show. And maybe that's what people like. Maybe that's why they voted for him. But that's not what this country needs. And that's all I'm going to say. And you can feel however you want to feel. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, how valid they are. Well, hey. But that is all of the ranting that I have at the moment. You know what? I might come back with another video. See, this is what happens when you don't get sleep. What should I talk about? We'll see.